A very good afternoon everyone. I really hope you all doing great and staying absolutely safe as well. सबसे पहले तो मैं आप सबका तहे दिल से स्वागत करना चाहूंगा आपके अपने प्लेटफॉर्म पे, दैट इज IAS Origin. IAS Origin पे आप सबका बहुत बहुत स्वागत है. वुड लाइक टू वेलकम यू ऑल टू द सेशन. हाय फला, प्रियंका, राजू, कनन, अमृता, विकनया, लिखित, प्रियंका, आशु, कोमल, राज्य लक्ष्मी, मिस्टर साहू, श्रीनू, ऑल द पीपल आउट देयर. मैं देख पा रहा हूँ बहुत सारे स्टूडेंट्स जुड़ चुके हैं. अ लॉट ऑफ स्टूडेंट्स हैव ऑलरेडी जॉइंड इन. First of all, I would like to welcome you all to this session. And secondly, let me tell you, today we are going to have a great discussion. Like always, whenever we have a session on this very channel, we make sure that I, certainly give you something which is exam oriented, which is going to be very much useful for you in your examination. So if somebody is, aiming for UPSC or even the state pieces examination, I can assure you that you're going to have a very exam oriented session over here, like always. Secondly, one very important thing is that you got to keep one thing in your mind, make sure you keep on making notes. Making notes is very much important, very much useful as well. So, do make your running notes as well. And I'm sure it will be helping you all in the long run as well. Whenever you make your own notes, it definitely is a very game changer thing. And it certainly helps you in the long run. So, certainly, make it a habit. Always make it a habit of making proper notes, and you will realize that it is going to be a very game changer habit in that sense, and it helps a lot of students. Not only you, anyone and everyone who is making proper notes, they are going to be taking full advantage of that. Anyways, now before I even start the session, make sure you all are adding this session to your liked videos so that it will be useful for you in the revision also. You will be able to locate it later, you will be able to revise it later. So everyone who has joined this very session, make sure you all add this session to your liked videos bete. Isko like videos mein make sure you add, and I'll be using a lot of maps, and through that only we'll be mastering this very topic. We are going to be mastering this topic through the help of maps, so it's going to be great for you. Okay? So I am hopeful that till here everything is absolutely clear. You don't have any doubts as such. I took a session last week which was based on the straits, different straits, and today's session is based on the gulfs. Firstly, I'll be telling you what are the gulfs, of course. But before I move ahead, as you all want, PDFs for revision. So PDF, you will certainly be finding of this session, previous session on this Telegram channel of IAS Origin. So make sure you join this Telegram channel of IAS Origin. That is IAS Origin UPSC. You can simply scan this, or you can search it online as well, and you will be able to find it. So I don't think you will be having any doubt in this context. This is a very basic thing which you certainly can do. And certainly, do subscribe to the channel of IAS Origin if you are here for the first time, and do hit the like button to add this session to your liked videos. You can add this session to your liked videos. In case you have not added it yet, you certainly can do that. How to make notes? See, notes ka, like I'll be telling you some pointers about, the locations and all, some important things about them. So through that, you certainly can do it. Got it? But basically, whenever I talk about the Gulf, so firstly, let's understand what Gulf is. If you look at this area, can you see this enclosed area? If you look at this area, so this is Gulf of California, this is Gulf of Mexico. So you realize it's a large body of water that is partially surrounded by land. You can see, partially surrounded by land with a narrow mouth into the ocean or a sea. So basically that is a Gulf. So this is a Gulf. This is a Gulf. You can have a look at this. Getting it? So that's a very important thing firstly to understand. Basically with the help of the map only you understand this thing. You got to understand. I'm absolutely fine. Thank you so much. If this is a first class, that's even great that you will be experiencing, very important thing. Now, what kind of the questions you can expect? You can get the questions that where is this particular Gulf located? You can get a question that in which country is this Gulf located? So that ways you will be able to answer precisely. So, you have to focus that what all are the kind of the questions you can certainly be expecting. Now, have a look at this world map. First of all, everyone, let's have a look at this world map. Can you see that? This is India. And as of now, to start with, I'll be focusing on this area, first of all. Then we will be focusing on this area. Then we'll be focusing on other areas also. So let's focus on the Asian part, first of all, west of the India and southeast of the India. Let's focus on this part. Are you all ready for that? So that's why I say, we'll be using a lot of maps, because ultimately these maps are going to give you a lot of clarity in that sense. Thank you so much everyone, for so much support. So I hope you guys are ready for this session. Perfect. Chalo, that's really great. Now, to start with, have a look at this area. You know, we call it Middle East or West Asia. Here you see, this is Gulf of Oman. This is Persian Gulf. This is Gulf of Aden. And here we'll also be talking about the Gulf of Suez and Gulf of Aqaba. So these almost 5 important gulfs which we see. Here also we have, you know, Gulf of Bahrain. We'll be talking about that also. So various gulfs we have, you know, so many gulfs we have in this area. Again, I would like to reiterate this fact that this particular area is Gulf of Suez. This is Gulf of Aqaba. This is Persian Gulf, this is Gulf of Oman, this is Gulf of Aden. So these 5 gulfs will be starting with. We are going to be starting with these 5 gulfs. In the last class we did what? In the last class we did the straits. Now we are doing various gulfs. Is that clear? So what you got to do is, yes Adit, I'll certainly be trying to do that. Don't worry. Okay. Now what is more important is, you know, we have to have this idea that how we are going to have a clear-cut point in this. So I'll be starting with the Gulf of Oman and, you know, Persian Gulf, so we can start, and of course we'll be moving ahead then. I hope that's fine. Chalo. So let's focus on this area first of all. So have a look at this beautiful map now. Can you see this Gulf of Oman? So what are the things you got to know about the Gulf of Oman? First thing is that Gulf of Oman connects Arabian Sea with the Strait of Hormuz. Can we say that? Because this is the Strait of Hormuz and here we have got the what? Arabian Sea. Hai na? So Arabian Sea, from Arabian Sea basically to go to Strait of Hormuz and further you got to cross the Gulf of Oman. That's one thing. And secondly, you got to understand that this Gulf is being connected with the Persian Gulf through the Strait of Hormuz. And what all the borders you got to understand, like Gulf of Oman. Why are we calling it Gulf of Oman? Because it is north of Oman. You know, this area is Oman. Everybody knows this thing. This area is Oman. So to the south we have Oman. To the north what we have? To the north basically we have Iran and here we have Pakistan. So mainly to the north we have Iran here and here we have Pakistan. Remember. So because we are talking about the precise location, we have to be very clear that Gulf of Oman ke south mein we have Oman and of course in north majorly we have Iran and some part of Pakistan. This is how we look at it. So that's how you locate a particular thing na. Its location with respect to some particular country. Now remember one thing, you know, here we have the Chabar port, very important port for India, and on the other side of the border we have the Gwadar port. So that's why this Gulf of Oman is certainly important for our geopolitical scenarios as well. As Indians we should be aware of this point. Is that clear? So this way we are, you know, doing things. It is not that just, you know, touch and go thing is there. No, nothing like that. We are doing things holistically. I hope you guys are understanding this point. Now, having said that, I hope you have got this idea. Now I'll be talking about the Persian Gulf as well. About this Gulf, Persian Gulf. So Persian Gulf is where? You got to understand it is between the Iran and Arabian Peninsula. So here we have the Arabian Peninsula and here we have the Iran. So again, if I talk about the Persian Gulf, you should know in the north of course there is Iran. So this Gulf area basically we have. So remember in this very map, if you talk about, this is the Persian Gulf as you all can see. In the north we have Iran, in the south we have the Arabian Peninsula. Remember that when we talk about this thing, it is of course through the Strait of Hormuz only you can reach over here through the ship. That's one thing. If we talk about the coastline part, this is very much interesting. So I'll be going clockwise only. So what all are the countries which we look over here? Let's have a look at this. So having said that, just hold on. Okay. So if we talk about various countries which we have over here, we have got of course Iran. You can see, you know, Persian Gulf, Iran is there. Then of course we also have Iraq also. So remember we have got Iraq. What else we have? Kuwait, Bahrain, Qatar. Kuwait is there, Bahrain is there, Qatar is there. Of course we have UAE also. So you can understand that these are the major countries which are there. They are very much important. And of course, you know, you'll be talking about Oman also because Oman is here also, you know, some part of Oman is here also. So remember this thing very much clearly. So you got to be understanding that whenever we are talking about different countries, so Persian Gulf pe, these are the countries which we have got, they are very much important. Any doubt? So you can see, this is the coastline of Saudi Arabia also here. So we have to understand that the Persian Gulf these all are the countries which are there. So a question can be there that what all are the countries on the coastline of the Persian Gulf. So we have to have a proper idea in this context. Any doubt still here? Okay. So I'll be showing you a better map. Have a look at this map over here. If you can see it, just hold on. Very clear? Can you see this beautiful map here? So I'll be moving this map a bit like this. Okay, that's perfect. So this is what? This is Persian Gulf. As you can see, it's very important actually. That's why we're talking about that. Here we have Iran and some coastline of Iraq. Then we have, of course, Kuwait. Then here we have Saudi Arabia. Then here we have UAE. Then here, of course, we have this part of Oman also. Here also we have Oman. So this is how we basically locate. And of course, here we have Qatar. Here we have Bahrain. Any doubt still here? Clear ho raha hai bete? So you got to be very much clear that we have got like this part of Oman. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. These are the countries which are surrounding the Persian Gulf. What I always try to make sure is, when you're doing maps, you have to be very precise and only then you are going to have a proper clarity. ये अब याद रखना. हाँ जी, हाँ जी. Clear है? So there are many countries, right? So these are majorly the countries we have got, involved in this particular area. We have to be very much clear. ठीक है. Any doubt still here? You surely can let me know. Clear है? But peninsulas will be doing in separate class. Like this is Arabian Peninsula. If we talk about okay, like here, look at this. So this part, this is Arabian Peninsula, no? See, extended inside the sea. This is Arabian Peninsula. That's how we look at it. So my idea is that through this map you can have a proper clarity on this thing, that Iran, Iraq, Kuwait, then you got Saudi Arabia, then you got UAE, Qatar, Bahrain, and some part of Oman. This is what you see in the Persian Gulf, and of course Strait of Hormuz, say you go to the Gulf of Oman. I hope till here nobody is having any doubts. Till here everything is crystal clear to you guys. So now can we say that Gulf of Oman and Persian Gulf's idea is there? Remember also, one thing, at times a question comes, Zagros mountains, these are of the Iran, very important mountains, Zagrob mountains. And similarly, Saudi Arabia, we have got Rub al Khali, very important desert. So these minor features also you can have a look at. I'll be providing you the PDF also, you don't have to worry. Ashu, okay, it's not clear. So what's the doubt? Can you please be a bit specific, bete? You can certainly be a bit specific. I'll be clearing the doubt in case there is any. Okay. Now the next one I would like to talk about. You will be getting the question on the Gulfs, based on, you can arrange them from the east to west or from the west to east. You can get a question that where is it located, in which country is it located. So like this, you certainly can be getting the questions. In that context, you will be getting them. Okay, Komal? I hope the idea is clear. So like this, you have to be very much clear whenever I'm, talking about any Gulf for that matter, that, how exactly are we going to approach it? Of course, with the map only you are preparing it. So Oman will always be bordering the Persian Gulf. Remember this thing, because basically we have 8 nations along the Persian Gulf. I'll repeat it. We have 8 nations, 8 countries हैं Persian Gulf को जो boundary कर रही हैं. Bahrain, Iran, Iraq, Kuwait, Oman, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, UAE. So these are total 8 countries, as I've already marked them. So I'll highlight it also for you. You have to remember that using map. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and this part of Oman, that is 8. Okay? Chalo, perfect. Now let's move to the next one. And now let's talk about the Gulf of Aden. Wasn't a lot of news in this region only. So you move southwards, and here, like you remember Gulf of Oman we just talked about. So you move a bit south, you have Gulf of Aden, like here. Now why is, if you've attended the class of the straits, Bab al-Mandeb Strait we have talked about. So when we talk about Somalia, you must have heard about Somalia. That's the country of Somalia. So in the south of the Gulf of Aden, here we have a lot of piracy happening. Piracy, Samudri Lutere, piracy. So you got to understand That is because of Somalia we have that. Anyways, Gulf of Aden is located in the Arabian Sea between Yemen and Somalia. To the north, we have this Yemen. To the south, we have Somalia. So you have to be very much clear that Yemen and Somalia ke beech mein we have the Gulf of Aden. That's one thing. Gulf of Aden is doing what? It is basically connecting itself with the Red Sea through Bab al-Mandeb. So through Bab al-Mandeb, you are going to the Red Sea. That is also a point. That's a fact you need to understand. And it's a part of Suez Canal route, because from here you go north to the Suez Canal and you enter the Mediterranean Sea. So that is why it's important. So if somebody asks you, you know, the countries around Gulf of Aden, you should know. To the north we have Yemen, to the south we have Somalia. To the south we have Somalia. So this is very, very important route. You know, internationally if we talk about, we got to understand this is actually a very, very important route we have to be understanding. Clear, Raji? Simple point. Okay. Now, if we go ahead, here we have two gulfs. Here we have got two gulfs which we need to talk about, and let's talk about them as well. I hope till here it's fine. So, from the Gulf of Aden, I think Gulf of Aden is absolutely clear now. So, what we do is, from Gulf of Aden we are going ahead and we are getting Gulf of Suez and Gulf of Aqaba. Remember this thing, that this is the Red Sea, right? In the Red Sea, we have Gulf of Suez and Gulf of Aqaba. Which Red Sea? This Red Sea. In this map, you can see a Red Sea. So you go far ahead and you reach over here. So remember this thing, that this is the Red Sea. Through Red Sea, either you go to Gulf of Suez and then through Suez Canal you enter Mediterranean Sea. This is a Suez Canal. Or you go to this. This is Gulf of Aqaba. So a direct question can be asked. So I'll be firstly covering the Gulf of Aqaba. So when I talk about the Gulf of Aqaba, Israeli also call it Gulf of Eilat. So that's one and same thing. You know, for the Israel, it is Gulf of Eilat. So it's a very narrow one. Now, ultimately, it is on the northern tip of Red Sea. Getting it? And what about the coastline over here? If you can see the coastline clearly, we have got the coastline of Israel. See over here. We have got Jordan. And here Sinai. Sinai is what? Sinai Peninsula is Egypt. Hai na? This is Egypt. And this is Saudi Arabia. So here this is a 4 countries junction. That's why it's very much important. So if we talk about this, here we have Egypt. Here we have Saudi Arabia. Here we have Jordan, and here we have Israel. So can you see that? So when I talk about the Gulf of Aqaba, it is very much significant. It is on the northern tip of Red Sea, and here we have got the 4 countries surrounding it. Hai na? 4 countries are there, and it is actually one of the world's very famous sites for diving. Gulf of Aqaba. So remember, what are the 4 countries around Gulf of Aqaba? Saudi Arabia, Jordan, Israel, and Sinai Peninsula. That is in Egypt. Any doubts still here? And trust me on one thing, these are very sharp things which you have to be, preparing when you go for the examination. Very, very important things these are, which we are basically talking about. Like, I'll be, very much clear that in examination, they'll be very much specific about the questions, and you have to be specific with the answers. Gulf of Aqaba is clear. Let's talk about the Gulf of Suez. The Gulf of Suez is on the northern end of the Red Sea. You can see that, northwestern end of the Red Sea. Here, let's have a look. So when I talk about the Gulf of Suez, it's a gulf on the northern end of the Red Sea, and it is to the west of Sinai Peninsula. Can we say that? So this area is Sinai Peninsula, hai na? Now, this is Sinai Peninsula. So to the west of Sinai Peninsula, we have Gulf of Suez. It is situated on the what? Any doubts you have, you can surely tell me. So of course it's smaller than the Gulf of Aqaba, but it is leading to what? It is leading to the Suez Canal. So in the north end, we have the Suez Canal. So if somebody asks you, if there is a statement that about the Gulf of Suez, you should know that towards the Gulf of Suez, in the southern end of the Gulf of Suez, we have the Red Sea. In the northern end of the Gulf of Suez, we have the Suez Canal. Very important. So it's in Egypt. This area is belonging to Egypt. This Sinai Peninsula is Egypt. Here we have Egypt. So this is basically Egypt. But here, what I said 4 countries. Why? Because Saudi Arabia is there, Jordan is there, Israel is there, and we have got, of course, Sinai, that is Egypt is there. Now, I hope this idea is crystal clear to you guys. I need to spend time only, then you will be understanding. You know, ऊपर से तो कुछ समझ नहीं आएगा. That is why we are doing that. Now, I'll tell you one beautiful thing over here. If you can see that clearly, here can you see port of Aqaba or Port Aqaba? Port Aqaba is belonging to whom? Jordan. Very small. And you can see this port of Eilat. Port of EILAT. Port of Eilat is belonging to Israel. So remember, Port of Eilat is of Israel and Port of Aqaba is of Jordan. So that's how you see this. Like the northern end of the Gulf of Aqaba, you have these very major ports we have got. Hanji, thank you so much. I really appreciate your support, you guys. See, I'll be very clear. So I don't know if you know or not, I have recently secured rank 25 in Himachal Pradesh Administrative Services Examination. And from the past 8 to 9 years, I am guiding aspirants like you. So I use this both experience, you know, my teaching experience of the past 8 years and my recently clearing a particular examination to guide you guys in the right direction. Because I know the demand of the examinations, I know what exactly is being asked in the examination. I think that is what is going to help you guys a lot. Hai na? So be very much clear. Stay till the end and I can assure you there will be absolutely nothing which is not related to the examination. In my sessions, I make sure of this thing. Be very much clear about this thing. Do hit the like button and add this session to your liked videos. Okay, now we are very much clear about this thing. That Gulf of Suez, basically Egypt. You know, Sinai is also Egypt. This is entire Egypt. Here we have the Suez Canal. And this Gulf of Aqaba, we have got like Jordan, Israel, Saudi Arabia and Egypt. And they are on the tip of the Red Sea. So Red Sea is basically here bifurcating, here Gulf of Suez, here Gulf of Aqaba. Very clear. Now, moving ahead, I would like to talk about a Gulf that is known as Gulf of Tonkin. Remember, very important Gulf from historical point of view, Gulf of Tonkin. So where is it? You know Vietnam? So you go to Vietnam, here in the northern end of the Vietnam, we have got the Gulf of Tonkin. So very important Gulf this is, rather. So remember, we are talking about the Gulf of Tonkin over here. So remember, it is in the, if you see, northwestern portion, like this is, you know, South China Sea. In South China Sea, northwestern portion of South China Sea we have. So you'll be getting an option that Tonkin, Gulf of Tonkin is based in which sea? Black Sea, South China Sea, East China Sea. These are the kind of the options you will get. So you know, you have to click, you have to take South China Sea. Okay. So remember, so where exactly it is based? You can say, you know, Gulf of Tonkin is basically, this is Hanoi area. So this is basically Vietnam. Here you will have the southern part of China. So here we have got that. That's one thing. And one very interesting thing is that if somebody talk about the countries, you know, surrounding that, so you should know that Gulf of Tonkin, ki hum jab baat karte hain, what all the countries like Vietnam is of course there. But it is bordered by China and Vietnam. So you have to be very clear, bete, that of course we have got the Hanoi, that is Vietnam. You know, Vietnam is there. This entire country is like Vietnam only, you know. This is Vietnam, but this is what? This is China. So remember, if I say Gulf of Tonkin, you should be very much clear that of course it is Vietnam. This is entire Vietnam and this is also China. So Gulf of Tonkin is bordered by Vietnam and China. So yeah, that is important. So you can have a direct question because you know China's expansionist policies. So in that context, that of course becomes very much important. So that's why I'm telling you this thing, that we should understand that it is northwestern portion of South China Sea and we have got the southern part of China and Tonkin, that is northern part of Vietnam, which is over there. Okay, Tonkin is near Hanoi. Hanoi is what? Hanoi is basically Vietnam only. Easy, very easy this is. So not spending too much time over here. I think this idea is very much clear. Now talking of the historical significance, remember this thing, that you must be aware of there was Vietnam War. So during the Vietnam War only we have the Gulf of Tonkin incident basically which happened. 1964 May in US and Vietnam War happened. So basically in 1964 we saw that Vietnam War is very important war, no doubt. And during that only an incident happened over here. So we talk about that particular incident, that yeah, it was quite important. Not much to know about it if you know this thing, because this is a class of geography, so not need to go into too much of history of it. Okay, now moving ahead, have a look at this map. Now this is a bit extensive map, as you can see. So recently we talked about this. This is Vietnam. This is, China. And here we have talked about what? Gulf of Tonkin, hai na? Gulf of Tonkin. Now this is a larger map to give you even, better way mein you can certainly understand things. So you should understand that when we look at a bigger map, it gives us even better clarity. So you can understand, why I said that Vietnam and China. And of course, Gulf of Thailand, if you talk about. Can you see it? Gulf of Thailand. Let's talk about the Gulf of Thailand. Now I'll be very much clear. See, if somebody asks you Gulf of Thailand, so you'll say, yeah, it's in Thailand. But what about the other country? Thailand is there, no doubt. But you got to understand a few important facts. For example, when I say the Gulf of Thailand, it is also known as, AK means also known as Gulf of Siam. Note it in your notebooks. It is also known as Gulf of Siam. Very important this is. So question comes that which of the following Gulf is known as Gulf of Siam, so you'll be confused. And it is bordered by, of course, Thailand, no doubt. But what all are the countries which are bordering it? We got to know that. So you can have a look. Easy. Thailand is there, of course. We have Cambodia and we have this part. This is part of Vietnam, of course. Hai na? So you will have this clear thing in your minds that of course we have Gulf of Thailand and Thailand hoga. This is Thailand. We have Cambodia and we have Vietnam as well. Easy. So I'm sure you're getting a lot of information which you may not be aware of earlier, but we are now discussing about that. So yeah, it is important point we need to look into. So in exam, you will be, getting these kind of the questions, so be very much clear. So when we talk about the Gulf of Thailand, it is also Gulf of Siam. It is bordered by 3 main countries over here, as you are aware of. We have got, of course, Cambodia area, Vietnam is there, and of course, we have got this thing as well. So it opens up in the South China Sea, no doubt. It will open in the South China Sea, but this is the Gulf of Thailand. Is that clear? This was the Gulf of Tonkin. We have already talked about the Gulf of Tonkin. Easy? Very much easy. Chalo, perfect. Now, moving ahead, bete, I'll be giving one more important, clear figure. Like this is the Gulf of Thailand, hai na? So here we have, of course, this area of Thailand, and this is the coast of the Cambodia, and this is the coast of Vietnam, and this is, of course, the coast of Thailand, and it is opening up in the South China Sea. Now it will be 100% clear. So Gulf of Siam is Gulf of Thailand. So even if you have to arrange, north to south, I think you can do that easily. You will be in a position to do that easily. That's what I hope. Few more Gulf which we have, they're lesser known, but we have to talk about them since the map is there. So I'll be telling you that surely is going to be a very useful information for all of you. Okay. So would like to tell you, like Gulf of Thailand we've talked about. There is one more Gulf which a lot of people are not aware of. That is Gulf of Martaban. Anybody who would like to tell me where we have Gulf of Martaban? Batao. Martaban, Gulf of Martaban. Think about it. Yangon, this Burma. So when we talk about this area, Myanmar, here, this area basically, this is known as Gulf of Martaban. Remember, this area is the Gulf of Martaban. So, north of the Andaman Sea, you can say this we have the Gulf of Martaban. It is also known as Gulf of Motama, Gulf of Martaban or Gulf of Motama. So it's next to India, but we don't know about it because we have not heard it. So it's an arm of Andaman Sea, no doubt, and it is in the southern part of the Burma. It is actually named after port city of Motama, which was also known as Martaban. It's in Yangon only. So remember this thing, that basically when we go to the Myanmar, so we have got this Gulf, and this is Gulf of Martaban or Gulf of Motama. I hope you have got extra information over here. Gulf of Martaban or Gulf of Motama. So in the map only, we can understand a lot of things, and I hope that this information will stay with you, for a long time, because such are the kind of the questions they will always be asking you. UPSC or state PCs, they always ask you these kind of questions. So Gulf of Martaban, basically, it's in the southern part of Burma, as we all can see over here. Easy? Chalo. Perfect. See, if this session is helping you in any which way, make sure you share it with your friends so that they can also take, advantage of the session. They can also be, learning something from this session, because ultimately my idea is to reach the maximum of the people, so that I can tell them that you have to use map for these topics. Without maps you can't ever master these topics. Remember this thing always. You want to master these topics, you got to use a lot of maps. Okay, let's move ahead then. Now moving ahead, let's talk about some parts of Africa. That's again very interesting. So now we have done these Gulf of Siam is Gulf Thailand. What is surrounding what we have talked about. Okay, now we have to go to this part of Europe. Now have a look at this part in this beautiful map. Can you see over here where my hand is, everyone? You can see very small country here in the northern part of Africa is Tunisia. I have made a circle. I'll zoom it further. If I zoom it further, we reach over here. Okay, this is Tunisia. Can you see that now? This country, Tunisia. In this country, Tunisia, bordering the Mediterranean Sea, this part where my arrow is, this part is a gulf. Lesser known gulf, but very important. And this is known as Gulf of Gabes. Can you see it further? So this part is Gulf of Gabes. So Gulf of Gabes is where? In the northern Africa, the country is Tunisia. So this is how we locate. So this is a very zoomed in map. We zoom out further and we reach over here. We zoom out further, we reach over here. So you can see, Tunisia. So technically Gulf of Gabes is where? Gulf of Gabes is here. My dot, this one. So Gulf of Gabes is the extension of what? Mediterranean Sea only. So you can have a look. This is Gulf of Gabes. Make a note of it. So where is Gulf of Gabes? Gulf of Gabes is based in Tunisia. So yeah, we are supposed to. It is of course not that important. Okay? But yeah, we should know about that it is in the east coast of Tunisia. It's a small country of North Africa and it borders the Libya and Tunisia, of course. So this is like Gulf of Gabes. Here we have Libya and here of course we have the Tunisia. So yeah, Libya and Tunisia area. Lesser known one. Let's move ahead. Moving ahead, bete, we talk about Gulf of Guinea. Gulf of Guinea as we talk about. So why? Because we have Equatorial Guinea. It's in the western part of Africa. So in the western part of Africa, we have Gulf of Guinea. So remember, when we talk about Gulf of Guinea, so basically right from the time of the trade, especially the slave trade also happening or across the Atlantic trade happening, this is very much important. So northeastern part of Atlantic Ocean, if we talk about, here we have got that on the western part of the Africa, and many rivers are coming over here like Niger, Volta, all these rivers are coming. So we just understand this thing that it is here we have got this Gulf of Guinea on the western part of Africa, and here we have the equator also passing just south of Gulf of Guinea, as you can see. So various countries are here, but this is very important, Gulf of Guinea. Kahan hai Gulf of Guinea? Is in western part of Africa. You just need to know this thing, not much about it. Okay, very basic thing. This is Gulf of Guinea. Recently it was in a lot of news. Why? Because we have got a lot of piracy happening. Piracy, samudri lutere, they rob the ships. So recently International Maritime Bureau described Gulf of Guinea as the most dangerous area in the world of shipping, one of the most dangerous areas. So that's important. So pirates are having armed weapons and they steal oil cargo also. So it is also estimation that 73% of the sea kidnapping and 92% of the hostage taking is occurring basically in this way. So that is actually very much important. Okay. Got it? So I hope you have got an idea. Here we have a lot of political crisis happening in the country, so that's why people resort to this kind of activities. Next, I would like to take you to this area. Can you see this area? So I'll be zooming it for you, and let's talk about a Gulf over here. This is very much important. Here, I would like to talk about this Gulf. Can you see this? Here we have Sweden, and here we have Finland. Everyone on the screens, please. This is very much important. I'll write very important. So remember, this is basically known as Gulf of Bothnia. What it is? Gulf of Bothnia. So if I ask you, Gulf of Bothnia is between two countries. Which countries? Sweden and Finland have got Gulf of Bothnia. Very much important. This is Sweden and Finland have got Gulf of Bothnia. Very important. And similarly, if I ask you about Gulf of Finland, So Gulf of Finland, no doubt, one country is Finland. What about the other country? The other country is Estonia. Remember this thing. If somebody asks you, okay, Gulf of Finland mein one country is Finland, we know that. What about the other country? It is Estonia. So this is Gulf of Finland. Clear? Easy. So I'll zoom it for you. Have a look at this now. This is Gulf of Finland, Estonia. Similarly, Gulf of Bothnia, Sweden and Finland. Now you can take a screenshot of it. I'll be giving you the PDF as well. Now, having said that, when we talk about this idea, of Bothnia, be very clear that Gulf of Bothnia is a part of Baltic Sea. Hai na? So this is Baltic Sea. So it is the extension of Baltic Sea only. So Gulf of Bothnia is basically an extension of Baltic Sea only. It is between Sweden and Finland. So two countries, Sweden and Finland, where Baltic Sea, you go north, you get Gulf of Bothnia. You just take a right over here to the eastern side, we have the Gulf of Finland. We got to understand this. Very easy this is. So Gulf of Finland. So remember this thing, that it is on the northern coast of Estonia and the southern coast of Finland, as you can see over here. Of course, it is also extension of the Baltic Sea only. Why is Gulf of Finland important? Because Gulf of Finland, we don't have this Finland and Estonia. Here we have extension of Russia also, St. Petersburg. So St. Petersburg basically is based on the Gulf of Finland. So it extends all the way to St. Petersburg, and you got to understand that it is, since it's belonging to Russia, it is very important exit for the Russia. Through this they go to the Baltic Sea. So you got to understand that if we talk about the Gulf of Finland, what all we have got? Finland, Estonia and St. Petersburg, that is Russia. This is very much important regarding Gulf of Finland. That's why I'm zooming it for you guys. Now you will remember this thing, Gulf of Finland. You have got in the north Finland, in the south Estonia, and in the east we have got St. Petersburg, that is Russia. Make a note of it. So now, using these maps only you can understand that, otherwise so it is not at all going to be clear. I'll zoom it further. Have a look at this. Now it's better. St. Petersburg here. Here we have got Estonia, that is Tallinn. Here we have got Finland. And the best part is you can see their capitals also, located over here. Like Finland ki capital is Helsinki. It is on this Gulf. Estonia capital is Tallinn, it is also located here, and Russia's important city is St. Petersburg, it is also located here. So on the Gulf of Finland, you can see three very major cities of Europe located, Helsinki, Tallinn, and of course St. Petersburg is of Russia. So you got to observe these points. UPSC may give you a direct question and you may not be able to answer, because if you're not aware of that, you will not be able to do that. Okay. Now I'll come a bit south of Gulf of Finland. I'll come a bit south of Gulf of Finland, and trust me, this is going to be super interesting for you. And I am hopeful, that you guys are understanding the nitty-gritties which are involved. You guys are understanding that, this session is super important for you guys, and ultimately, this is the only way you can master these things precisely. So I can see a lot of support coming from you guys, which is really encouraging, so that I can bring more such sessions for you guys. Surajit Bru is there, Indir Bharat, Manav is there. So thank you so much, first of all. See, Russia's capital is Moscow, but Russia's very important city is St. Petersburg. That's why I'm saying St. Petersburg is an important city of Russia. Okay, now we come a bit south of it. Remember, this was Gulf of Finland we just did. We have covered Gulf of Finland, hai na? You come a bit south, you have got Gulf of Riga. What you've got? Gulf of Riga. Everyone can see that. So why Gulf of Riga is named after Riga? So what is Riga? Riga is a very important capital city, as you can see. Riga. So remember, it is between Latvia and Estonia. So you have this country Latvia, its capital is Riga, and Estonia, of course. So between Estonia and Latvia, we have small Gulf, Gulf of Riga. That is important. So of course, Gulf of Riga and the Baltic Sea is connected by a small strait, Irby Strait. But what is more important is that it is basically an extension of Baltic Sea. And you just need to understand that Gulf of Riga is between Latvia and Estonia. They are now important points after, Russia's, when we talk about, occupation of Ukraine, this entire part is important. These are the Baltic countries, Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania. So you should know about these things, that here we have the Gulf of Finland, here we have the Gulf of Riga between Estonia and Latvia. So I think this will be helpful for you in your examination. So you have to have a basic idea. So I'm not going in too much depth of it, but yeah, you have to have a basic idea of this thing. Okay, ji? So let's move ahead. And ultimately, these are the sessions which are going to set the tone for your overall clarity. Remember this thing. So I hope you guys have added this session to your liked videos so that, whenever you go to the exam revision part, you should be able to have access to these videos. So make sure you hit the like button, all the people out there. Okay. Now the next one I would like to talk about is one very small gulf it is. In the last class we talked about the Strait of Gibraltar. So you go a bit of west of Strait of Gibraltar. Here we got the Gulf of Cadiz. What it is? Gulf of Cadiz, C-A-D-A-Z. This one. Have a look at this. First of all, locate that on the map, then I'll tell you about it. So this is a very important one, Gulf of Cadiz. Now, of course, it's a lesser known Gulf. And because it's a lesser known Gulf, that is the point. A lot of people do miss out on that, and UPSC will always focus on these. They're not going to ask you about the prominent ones, of course. They're going to be asking you about these things. So what are the basin countries? The basin countries, as you can see over here, we have got this Portugal and this is part of the Spain. So I'll certainly say that the countries are Portugal and Spain when you talk about the Gulf of Cadiz. So countries you should know. And where is it located? It is basically the Atlantic Ocean only, right? So you got to understand it's the northeastern part of Atlantic Ocean because this area is Atlantic Ocean only, hai na? So here in the Atlantic Ocean itself, we have got the Gulf of Cadiz. It is next to Strait of Gibraltar. So important sea route. So next to Strait of Gibraltar it is, you can certainly see that. Very much important this is. And the basin countries, as you can see, are Spain and Portugal. So they may also be asking you, it's in Europe, it's in Africa, it's in America, it's in Asia. So you should know Gulf of Cadiz is in, of course, this European part. And here you can see that. So, but I won't say it separates because Strait of Gibraltar separates the Africa and Europe. What I can certainly say is it's in Europe itself. You have to understand this thing that, precisely the Spain and the Portugal, it is there. So you can say, it's in the European area, and Gulf of Cadiz is very much important because of the refugee crisis also. It's very much important. Got it? So let's move ahead now. Now you know the countries, basin countries, that's more the important. And Strait of Gibraltar, I've already told you, it connects the Mediterranean Sea with the Atlantic Ocean. And on the north we have Spain, that is Europe. On the south we have Morocco, that is Africa. We've already talked about this area precisely. I would like to take you to here. Can you see that on the map, please? This. So here you can see we've got a Gulf. So this particular Gulf over here, if you can see on the map, please, I'll zoom it for you. It is Gulf of Carpentaria. Make a note of it. Again, lesser known Gulfs these are. So a lot of people have heard about the Persian Gulf and all, but these kind of the Gulfs nobody knows about. So it is, of course, a shallow sea, and three-sided is enclosed by, of course, Australia, and north we have Arafura Sea. So here in the north we have the Arafura Sea, and here we have, of course, Australia on the three sides. That is Gulf of Carpentaria. So Arafura Sea is the body of the water which lies between Australia and New Guinea. So just one thing, we also have a strait known as Torres Strait over here. Torres Strait will connect Arafura Sea with the Coral Sea. We have done in the last class. If you attend all my classes, you will be master of the world map. I can assure you this thing. So you can see this is the Gulf. So which country has got the Gulf of Carpentaria? That is the Australia. Australia has got the Gulf of Carpentaria. You just need to know this much. Australia. Very basic this point is. हाँ जी. Priyanka, देखो, Gibraltar is not a Gulf. Gibraltar is a strait. Be very much clear. Just okay. Repeat. Let me repeat. This is Strait of Gibraltar. So Strait of Gibraltar basically is connecting. So strait is different. Gulf is different. Strait is a water body. It is connecting two water bodies. Like Mediterranean Sea, Atlantic Ocean is connected by Strait of Gibraltar. As simple as that. So you got to be very much clear that how do we differentiate between both. So Strait of Gibraltar is different and Gulf is different. Gulf of Cadiz is like a Gulf. So be very clear. I hope it's clear, Priyanka. Anyways, ये समझ आया बेटे Carpentaria. So here you can see very important. So now Torres Strait, I'm just telling you for the sake of revision, we have done it all. So Torres Strait is connecting Arafura Sea with the Coral Sea. We have done it in the previous class as well. This is how we look at it. Chalo, perfect. So I'm really happy with the kind of the response you guys are giving to the session, and I'll be planning more such sessions so that you guys are even gaining further. But what till the time I would say is that keep on revising these things precisely. Your revision means the world to you guys, remember this thing, revision is the most important thing, and a lot of people always what they do is miss the revision part. So don't miss the revision part ever. Okay, moving ahead. So having said that, now we talk about a very important Gulf, like have a look at this map, world map, this area. So if I talk about this particular area, this is what? This is Gulf of Mexico. Everybody knows that. So in the last class also we did talk about that. Trump said that we will name it Gulf of America, but as of now we know it as the Gulf of Mexico. You can see this area, and of course on the north we have US. So you got to understand this is one of the most important Gulf which we have got on this planet in the world map as we talk about. So we got to understand this thing, that Gulf of Mexico is very much important. So it is the largest, the Gulf as we can talk about. It is bordered by whom? US and Mexico, and of course here we have Cuba also. Cuba, Mexico and United States of America are the three countries, as you can see. I'll highlight it for you just for your convenience. We have got Mexico, we have got US, and we have got Cuba. Remember these three countries. Its coastline, I'm telling you because it is massive. So this particular coastline, it is around 5,000 kilometer ki coastline. Around 5,000 kilometer coastline it is having. So that's why it is massive. Gulf of Mexico. That's why Trump said that we'll rename it as Gulf of America. But that is their wish. Whenever it is done, it is done. But as of now, you just be clear about these particular points. Gulf of Mexico. So it is massive, as you all are aware of. The next one, if you go to a bit northern side towards Alaska, then we talk about the Gulf of Alaska. So let's talk about that also, that why exactly is Alaska, the Gulf is so much important. So talking of the Alaska, here we have got the Gulf of Alaska. Look at here. So it's a branch of what? Pacific Ocean only. It's like an arm of Pacific Ocean, you can say. And very tough coastline it is, mountains and everything. Of course, Alaska is a part of US, and of course then here we have the Canada as well. So you have to understand this thing, that whenever you talk about the Gulf of Alaska, we have to understand first of all where it is located. Secondly, it is the arm of which particular ocean, we should know. So Pacific Ocean's arm it is, we have to understand. And it is actually a very important area. We have got a vast diversity of wildlife and deep water corals and all we find. So remember, the coast of the Canada and the Alaska is the coast of US. We find it over here, very much important, and it's an arm of Pacific Ocean. Pacific Ocean ki hi arm hai this Gulf of Alaska. Is that clear? So a question comes, about the countries. You should know it is Canada and US. They can give you the option of Russia and all, so they can confuse you. You don't have to get confused. Easy. Now the next one I would like to talk about is, I hope now this idea is absolutely clear. Nobody is having any doubts regarding this. I would like to talk about, Gulf of St. Lawrence. From Atlantic Ocean, you go to this area. This is the Gulf of St. Lawrence. So why are we even talking about this thing? Again, it's a lesser known one, as you can certainly see, because not many people are aware of this Gulf of St. Lawrence. So that's why we are talking about it. And it is a very important area, first of all. And remember this thing, that Gulf of St. Lawrence is where? Canada. So you can simply see on the map itself that we have got Canada, very important area of the Canada. We have got the Gulf of St. Lawrence. So we have to be very much clear about it. So basin country is basically Canada, we need to understand. It is Canada as we talk about. Very important point this is. So in case you guys have any doubts, you surely can let me know. Everyone. Clear? So I am hopeful about one thing at least, that whatever we are talking about, you are able to make some sense out of it. You're able to understand that, that's simply the most important thing you have to keep in your minds. Very, very important this is. Okay. So it's a very good fishing areas also. Now I would like to talk about this Gulf of California. Now the best part is, here, this is the border of US and Mexico. So technically where it is in Mexico only. Can you see that? So it is named after the state of US, but it is California. So remember this thing. This is also known as Sea of Cortez. In Spanish language, it is called Mar de Cortés or Mar Bermejo or Gulf of California. So what is important is, there was a Spanish explorer, Hernan Cortés. So on the name of the Hernan Cortés only, we call this as the Sea of Cortés. So remember, Gulf of California is also known as the Sea of Cortés. And where it is located? It is located in Mexico. Gulf of California, which is also known as Sea of Cortés, it is located in Mexico. So yeah, this is one point you got to understand. Simply important. Samajh aaya? Yeah. But in mnemonics, I'll give you in separate class. I'll do that, Vineet. Don't worry about that. We'll certainly be doing that. But I hope this idea is absolutely clear. So, my idea is that but lesser known gulfs we should always be talking about, because a lot of students don't know about them, and that is where they flunk in the exam also. So this is quite important. One thing I would like to talk about, in the Canada itself, you go a bit north, you have this Amundsen Gulf. This is the Amundsen Gulf. And where it is again in the Canada only, Great Bear Lakes and to the north of Great Bear Lakes. So you got to understand, in Canada, you have this Amundsen Gulf. Now again, it's a lesser known Gulf, but you have to make a proper note of it, that when you get this question, you should be in a position to answer it precisely, that it's in the northern part of Canada. Okay, so they have the territory of Nunavut. So Nunavut mein we have got that. It's basically the Arctic Sea extension. It is very important. Amundsen Gulf, it's in Canada. Clear? Now I would like to talk about some important ones which we are always aware of already, by the way, like Gulf of Mannar. I think everybody knows that. So Gulf of Mannar is where? Between India and the Sri Lanka. If you go over here, south of the Park Strait, we have got this Gulf of Mannar. Getting it? It's a very diverse area for the maritime diversity also. We talk about, it's quite important. So yeah, we should be understanding this point. And moving ahead, Gulf of Mannar is easy. In Gujarat, a lot of people do get confused. So remember, this is Gulf of Kutch in the north, this one. And this is Gulf of Kambat or Gulf of Cambay. This is Gulf of Cambay. So this is the Gulf of Cambay. So don't get confused. This is Saurashtra. Towards this side, we have the Gulf of Kutch. Towards this side, we have the Gulf of Kambat or Gulf of Cambay. This has to be very much clear to you guys, and that's why we talk about this thing. Kutch and the Cambay, they are totally different. So Gujarat has massive coastline because of these gulfs only. It has got this corrugation, and that's why the coastline is very much big. Like we talk about very important port, and that particular port is like Adani port we talk about, or Mundra port we talk about. So you got to understand this thing, that this very massive private port which we have got, where exactly is it located? Batao. Dono mein se, where exactly it is? So it is on the shore Gulf of Kutch. When we talk in the Gulf of Kutch only, here we have got this Mundra port. Here we have got this Deen Dayal port also. So we have to be very much clear that these are very important ports which we got in the Gulf of Kutch. So Gulf of Kutch mein we have got plenty of important ports that are serving India. So yeah, we need to understand that also. Okay, ji? So please be very clear about these particular things. When we talk about this idea, we have to be very much clear. Any doubts in case you guys have? So here like we have Kandla, here we have Mundra. So these ports are present in Gulf of Kutch. Because a lot of people are not sure where in Gujarat they are. So here we have Mundra, here we have this Kandla, okay, Deen Dayal port Kandla. So I hope this idea is absolutely clear. Samajh aaya bete? Kandla port, Deen Dayal port is one and the same thing. I hope you know that. So my idea is that you should be getting proper clarity with respect to the examination. That's why we're talking about related things also. We have talked about the Gulf of Thailand. We have talked about the Gulf of Martaban also. Hai na? Suez and Martaban, we have already talked about that. So that is very much it from my side. So I hope now you have plenty of information. Even if some other Gulf comes in the exam, through elimination and permutation combination, you will be getting to the right answer. You don't have to worry in that regards. You will be doing that precisely. I'm sure about it. And that is how you go about it. So Priyanka, there are a lot, but what I have told is simply the very important ones we have already talked about, and I'm sure that this will be, strengthening overall clarity which you guys have. So always make sure, that you always attend the session if you get a notification, and do subscribe to the channel of IAS Origin. So thank you so much. First of all, do subscribe to the channel and do hit the like button if you have liked the session, so that this video is added to your liked videos, and later on also you can watch it precisely. On this Telegram channel of IAS Origin, you'll be getting the PDF of the session, which I'm sure you would like to have for your revision part. Very important this is. And keep liking, keep supporting these sessions, so that we keep on bringing the best for you. That's me, Akash and Dev, signing off. I am hopeful that you have enjoyed the session, and always keep on focusing on the gems which you find anywhere on the internet, so that you can study smartly according to the needs of the examination. I think that is the way to crack the examination in this competitive times. So all the very best to you guys. More power to you guys. God bless you. Thank you so much. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.